Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you another movie review. This time we're going to be talking about Hatchet 3. And I just did my review of Hatchet 2 not too long ago, so if you guys want to check that one out, just search the channel, or I will provide a link to it at the end of the video. But yeah, I was kind of surprised that I decided to not only watch, but buy the third movie. But I bought the other two, so I kind of figured may as well, finish the collection of the series thus far. You can go watch my other reviews on the first two movies if you guys want to hear more of my in-depth thoughts on those. But the first movie, I thought it was, it was okay. It was, it was mildly entertaining. I did find some of the characters to be likable, and the gore, while over the top, it was still fun. The second movie, on the other hand, I didn't really like it, to be completely honest. I liked Danielle Harris taking over as the lead, but it just got too cheesy. I know it's trying to be over the top, but the second movie just got too much, and parts of it didn't look completely real. It kind of took me out of it, and the characters just weren't as likable. They were really dull and wooden, in my opinion. So I wasn't really sure what I was going to get with Hatchet 3 or how I was going to end up feeling about it. But I was surprised as hell, man. I really liked Hatchet 3, actually. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I really enjoyed it. And I'm happy I did. Definitely my favorite of the Hatchet movies, for sure. It corrected almost everything I didn't like about the second movie, and not only that, but I think it was also quite a bit better than the first movie as well. I also think the cover is pretty cool, Blu-ray. So yeah. But yeah, so of course this one starred Danielle Harris yet again, picking up exactly where the first movie left off, and I think it was definitely a brutal start, because it takes place literally the second after the second movie ended, I mean. So we kind of get that finish with Danielle Harris trying to put him down again and such, and Danielle Harris, she's given a lot more room to shine in this movie, I think, and just based off this movie and her performance in it and what they write her character to do, I can see why Marybeth may be a favorite role of hers for some fans, because she did really well in this movie, and they just gave her a lot more to do writing-wise, I think. Showing up in the police station at the beginning of the movie after, with Victor Crowley's scalp. That was fun. You can sort of see how she is becoming a little bit more twisted and sort of driven a little bit more mad, due to the event she's been through and such. So I really like that for sure. And so Danielle Harris did really well in the movie, and I like her even more than I already did after seeing it, for sure. So she was great. I can definitely see why, again, this movie might be a favorite of her fans, for sure. And I also want to talk about, the effects as well. I'll do that in a minute, though. Victor Crowley himself, let's talk about the effects. The effects were probably at their best of the whole trilogy, in my opinion. They were alright in the first one. Second one, parts of it was too cheesy and over the top for some reason. And the third, while yes, still over the top, it looked a little bit more real again for some reason. I don't know what it is. But the violence and the gore just came across a little bit more real while still being over the top, which I liked a lot. They made Victor Crowley a little bit scarier because in certain points in the first and second one, sometimes just the way he jumps out, it comes off a little bit comical in a way. But in this one, it seems like they wrote him a little bit more seriously. And while I would say I'm not talking correctly. Well, I wouldn't say I was scared necessarily. I will say that I did get a feeling of intensity in certain sequences, and I did actually feel nervous towards the end of the movie. So I was, happy to actually, feel something while watching this movie. The characters I also thought were overall better, as well as the actors themselves. I think the characters are more likable in this one. Of course, as I said, Danielle Harris got more to do, which is great. But like the side characters as well, and the characters that you know are going to just be a part of the body count. I think they picked some better actors this time around, and it came off a little bit better, I think. And this includes Derek Mears, ironically enough, because he played Jason in the Friday the 13th remake in 2009. So I thought it was fun to have him in here as this leader of this SWAT unit who came into the swamp after they'd gotten a call. And then you also, I'll just talk about this now before I forget, you also had an appearance from Sid Haig, who is known for his role in House of 1,000 Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and things like that. It was fun seeing him in here as well. I haven't actually got around to seeing those yet, but it's just good that they have cameos. They had Robert Englund in the first one, Tony Todd in the first two films. So it's fun to see him pop up here as well. And Victor Crowley himself in this movie, he looked even better. I want to say he probably looked his most gnarliest, if that makes any sense. Most like raggedy and sort of just fucked up, I guess. Again, I don't know if it's just like same thing with the gore effects. I don't know if it's just something they changed about it, or if the lighting. I don't know, but he looked pretty awesome and actually a little scary, I'll say. So I liked it. And like I said, with the violence in this, you just take it a little bit more seriously in this one for some reason, even though it is obviously still very much over the top. Like that, for example, but it is a lot of fun. But yeah, so, with the SWAT, we had, like, the sheriff's department coming in and such, but I like how he kept on upping the ante throughout the trilogy. Like in the first one, they had, basically a group of tourists, just shooting fish in a barrel, really. And then you had the second one, a group of hunters, a little bit more, potentially capable. And then this one, you get a damn SWAT team. So I like that. That's something I always want to see in, like, the Friday movies, like a legitimate, like, commando group, like hunting down Jason or something. I know he kind of got, like, the police coming after him and Jason goes to hell. But something more to this extent, I think, always would have been fun, so it's good to see this in here. And of course, Marybeth, Danielle Harris, I will say she's at her best in this movie, but part of it, her character was sidelined throughout the movie as she was locked in jail, while the sheriff's department and everyone else are scrambling trying to make sense of all the bodies that they found piling up in the swamp, seeing that her story is actually true. It's unfortunate she was sidelined for most of the movie until probably the last, 20-30 minutes or so, I think, give or take. But I still liked her scenes in there. And you also have this lady who is researching Victor Crowley throughout the years, and now she wants to use Danielle Harris as a way to prove her story true. And she was definitely a stuck-up bitch, but you can kind of understand her perspective and what she wanted to do as well. I sort of like the line where Danielle Harris in her southern accent, tells the lady to, get out of my face, bitch. I thought that was fun. I think Danielle Harris actually did a good job while she was locked in that cell, though. It gave us a little bit more character concentration, with her, which I didn't really expect in a movie like this. So I did enjoy that part of it, really. But of course, I was still eager for her to get back out into the swamp and deal with Crowley herself, of course. And of course, you also have the Asian guy. I don't know the actor's name, but he popped up in all three movies. I forgot to mention this in my other reviews, as a boat guy, and this one he's like a paramedic, so it's fun to see him. It just brought the actor back because he just probably had so much fun with it and such. And I know Adam Green, he didn't direct this movie, but he gave it over to a guy who had been working on the film since the first one as well, and I think it worked out fine, obviously because it's my favorite of the series. But yeah, so it was a damn good time, I'll be honest. I didn't really expect it, both of the first two movies, although I did kind of like the first one. They're both sort of like D-grade movies, in my opinion. But this one, I'll probably give a solid B, which I wasn't really expecting to say. This movie also ends on like a major cliffhanger. Of course, everyone is killed off except Marybeth towards the end. And just that final showdown between her and Crowley is really intense. The reporter had gotten this idea that, okay, maybe the way to break the curse is to reunite him with his father, because the legend goes that he's like walking around each and every night looking, to reunite with his father. Of course, Thomas had died, quite a while before this, but she gets the idea to get his ashes, who they get from Sid Haig's character, and, just sort of give it to him, And Crowley does pause when they bring him the ashes, but he ends up killing the reporter anyway. And what ends up happening, I was actually really worried for Marybeth here, Danielle Harris, because Crowley picks her up. I was worried as fuck at that point, and then he like impales her on like a tree branch, and I thought that was just it, and he looks like to be picking up like the hatchet or something, and I thought he was just gonna like go and try to like dismember her or something, which I really don't want to see that happen to Danielle Harris, but luckily the ashes were able to spill out onto him, and this begins like melting him down. It's like a different effect than before. It appears like a little bit more supernatural, almost magical, with him eroding really. So it actually does seem to do the deed. But again, I like the thoughts like that he's a repeater, so maybe he will keep coming back, but I don't know. But it does end on a bit of a cliffhanger, because Marybeth manages to break the branch. It was kind of like more through like her side, like right, in this kind of area, but it was still a very bad spot for sure. And it ends with her bleeding out, and then like the military, that were called in prior, like the helicopter flying overhead, and the movie ends. You hear the audio of the heart beating. You see Marybeth, she's slowly like breathing slower and slower, bleeding out and such. And then it cuts to black, and you think, okay, she died right as they got there. That's sad. But then it cuts back once, and you see her sort of like, okay. That's definitely a cliffhanger for sure, and it sounds like they might not do a fourth one, which kind of bugs me a little. But this definitely was an ambiguous ending. Sort of pleasing fans that want her to die for some reason, but also fans that want her to likely live. My interpretation is that she did survive, I think, because if they didn't want us to think she did, I think they would have just kept it where they did, instead of like cutting to her for like one more second, showing her like sort of gasping again. So I think that was meant to imply that she did manage to survive, which is a good call with Danielle Harris, I think. But yeah, overall, there's more I like to talk about, but it is almost 12 a.m. right now. There are other things I want to do with my night, but I will say I did want to emphasize I did like this one quite a bit more than I expected. Definitely a lot more than the first two, and I was surprised. This is a damn good slasher, gore movie for sure. It was a good time. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I'm giving it a B. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I know you guys thought about Hatchet 3. If you think they'll still do a Hatchet 4, I'd still like to see it, but I can understand if they kind of leave it here too, I guess. But yeah, let me know what you think. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.